You gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, isn't it?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. You look good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. It is Tuesday, May 6th. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you're watching us live on YouTube, we appreciate that. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Tell a friend or two or 10 about what we're doing each and every day here in the Quad Cities. Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, talking sports and a whole bunch more. We're also live on X. If you're watching on X, we appreciate that as well. And I mention it every day, but if you are a podcaster, you like listening to it in the podcast form, we are up on every podcast platform imaginable to mankind. I don't know if that's true. It sounds good. I think I'm there. If you listen to podcasts somewhere and you can't find Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, let me know. We'll figure it out. But Apple, Spotify, iHeart, you name it, Podbean, we're up on all of them. So beautiful day in the Quad Cities. If you're working out later, going for a run, something like that, and you want to listen to the show, download it on the podcasting platforms and check out the show. Excited about today's show. It should be another fun day. Of course, Mondays are usually our Mondays with Pat Anger. Of course, he was way too good for us yesterday. We'll kind of figure out what that is and why that was here in a little bit. But Pat Anger joins us. If you don't know, if you didn't miss the show on Friday, but we had Kirk Ferentz on Friday. So I want to chat with Pat about that interview, some of the things Kirk Ferentz said, and then our weekends and all that fun stuff. So Pat Anger in just a matter of moments. Also, coming up later on in hour number 1, my good friend John Marx will be swinging by the house to get caught up in the world of sports. It's been a minute since we've had John Marx on the show, so we'll get caught up on some local topics and some national topics as well. So John Marx coming up in hour number 1 as well, and then also in hour number 2, the Blackhawk baseball team ranked 14th in the country. They just won their 3rd straight Arrowhead Conference Championship. They're doing it with a bunch of local guys. It's a ton of fun. Their assistant coach, Noah Wethington, a local product, an alum product, really good dude, will join us in hour number 2 of the show as well. So we've got plenty to get to once again. Of course, if you missed yesterday's show, it was Cinco de Mayo. So we had the one and only Snoop Ramirez in the house. He brought enchiladas. He brought chips and salsa. It was a ton of fun yesterday with Snoop. So check out that as well. Also, we got caught up with what was a crazy weekend, a crazy Sunday in Iowa City at Carver Hawkeye Arena with Caitlin Clark's return. So both Tom Kakert and Kyle Huseman from the Hawkeye Report joined me to talk about all that and much more. We also talked about the Iowa baseball team. The Iowa baseball team closing in on their first regular season Big Ten championship since 1990. I was 11 years old the last time they won a Big Ten regular season championship, and we talked about it yesterday. Arguably, this is the hardest year to ever do so, with the addition of USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington, some really good Pac-12 programs into the Big Ten now. Harder than ever to win a regular season championship, and the Iowa Hawkeyes, Rick Heller and company, closing in on that. So go check out yesterday's show for that as well. So we got a lot to get to, and as we mentioned, we had Kirk Ferentz on Friday, and I was so excited to talk to my good friend. Get your finger out of the way. My good friend Pat Anger. Hey, you're in the car again, so we should have good reception. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I wanted to make this right for you. Now the sirens, the weather sirens are going off, for the little test thing. So I'm sorry about that, but I feel like this is better. I didn't want to freeze up on the Dazzler,
Is that a thing now? The Dazzler? Is it that what we're gonna?
Dazzler.
Is that me or the show?
That's you. You're the Dazzler.
I'm the Dazzler.
Some people call you Bedazzled. The Bedazzler.
Do they?
Oh,
Who does that?
everyone I've talked to has.
Name one person.
So you were 11 in 1990, huh?
Yeah. What were you?
Gosh,
What?
how's it
5?
feel? Like you're gonna be 50 here soon.
I'm closer to 50 than I am 40. That's for
Isn't
sure.
that crazy?
Yeah, dude. Like, I'm way closer to the finish line than I am to the starting line. If that makes any sense. Like, it could happen soon. That's a little
You
bit
know what's
what I'm
funny?
worried about.
Like when you're young, you see somebody that's in, close to 40 or mid 40s, you're like, and they got kids, you're like, I bet that guy's got everything figured out, right? And then you get there and you're like, I don't know anything.
Oh,
I don't know anything.
it always seems to me in life the next stage is the best stage, and it never is. You know what I mean? You're in high school, you're like, man, I can't wait to go to college. Well, that may have been the best stage, so I shouldn't say that. But then you get to like you get married and you're like, oh, this is great, but it's so hard because they got these kids and they're young and they're crying and I can't wait to be done. And then like you get into this stage and all you do is chauffeur kids around. Like all I do right now is chauffeur one kid to the next thing. And you're like, man, and everyone tells you, hey, you're going to miss these days. And then I see like my mom and I'm like, man, she's retired, just loving life. And so and then she tells me you're going to miss all these days. So anyways, yeah, I don't think we ever get it figured out for sure. What happened yesterday? Why were you too good to be on the show?
I was golfing in the Jim Victor Junior Achievement Golf outing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So
Jim was a good guy. Got a chance to know him when I first got into banking, and Junior Achievement, obviously a great organization here in the Quad Cities.
So Jim Victor, he was on the KWQC when I was growing up, right? Didn't he come on and do their okay. So blah blah blah, raise money, great, you're awesome. How was the golf game? That's all I care about because we have serious shit to get to or stuff to get to. Wow. Whoa. Exactly.
Are you done
we got
swearing?
Serious. We got stuff to get to. I just completely forgot we're being recorded or broadcasted out to people. I just was just a normal conversation. We got serious business to get to in less than 6 weeks. How'd the golf game look? Are you just like doing great?
Getting dialed in, man. I'm getting real dialed in.
So
Still terrible,
but
I haven't cheated. The last 2 outings I have not cheated in, and did pretty good. Obviously won't cheat in your outing.
Never.
In the Guy Randazzo Memorial outing. Will not cheat.
Never.
But I think at that point, my score is going to look like I cheated.
What was the good part of your game?
Everything. Just everything. I tell you what, nothing was good. However, I only lost 2 balls.
That's huge.
I know.
Wow. We might win by 10 strokes if that's the case.
That's really honestly what I go for is if my score is better than the amount of balls that I lose. And that was the case this time.
Did you have a pink ball?
No, I did not. Joe, I think Joe
that?
probably has already lost that one.
How frustrating is this? And I hope he listens to this. I'll send it to him.
He doesn't.
Every year we pay for the pink ball. And basically the pink ball lets you tee off. One person tees off from the women's tees. And every year after the first hole, he's like, I lost the pink ball. It's awful. He's so good at everything in life and handsome and all that kind of stuff, but he just loses the pink ball every damn time.
I think we just keep giving it to him and we let him work through this. And I believe in him. I trust the process. I think his development's great. I think Joe's going to do a tremendous job.
It's one of the traditions of the outing that Joe does. We're not going to talk specifically about the other tradition that he does, but that's one of the two. They're both hilarious, but
there's a new sponsor this year too that I think Joe's going to be excited about.
Yes, there is. I think we're all going to be excited about that. What else was I going to talk to you about? Oh, I wanted to quickly because I want to get into. I had Kirk Ferentz on the show on Friday. Did you know that?
How much? I did. I listened to it on the way home from Des Moines the other day, and I thought you did a really good job, Matt. I thought that was great. How easy is he to interview? Because he's so intelligent and he's honest, and he's really just spot on everything that he says, and a tremendous human. And I think if you watch that and you wonder, wow, why do these players love Coach Ferentz so much? You're wrong. I mean, that you watch that and you really realize how lucky we are to have that guy at Iowa, and so lucky to have him in my life and continue to have him in my life. And he's the best. He's the absolute best.
You look at and my wife called me and she's watching and she's like, man, he just seems like a great human being. And and I'm not saying this because he's almost 70. I think he turned 70 August 1st. We have a similar birthday. August 9th is mine. Remember these things because you need to send a gift to Kirk and you need to send a gift to me. But he reminds me of talking to my dad. And like my Jen was just like, yeah, I can see that. Like my dad would sit in the corner, an older man, and he was just wise. He'd just say stuff and you'd be like, oh, that makes sense. And like you listen, he's so calming. He's cranky with college football, but you wouldn't know it. You know what I mean? Like it's not like he rants and raves, and he just gets his point across without being like a jerk or an a-hole or something like that. So no, it was a ton of fun. But we talked about several things. I'm trying to think which one I want to play and talk to first. I think I want to start with the lack of numbers. So everybody knows that it went from 126 to probably 105. And Iowa is well documented as being one of those schools that takes walk-ons and makes them into something. Captains, Big Ten, all Big Ten players, stuff like that. So here's Kirk Ferentz kind of talking about that, and I want to get your point on it as well. If I told you in 2009 that Pat Angerer would have a live microphone for 4, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Hey, I'm doing everything here. I'm doing everything. Cut me some slack. Here we go. I just want to stay on this so I can watch Pat laugh. All right, here we go.
It's really one of my biggest fears, Matt, and it's kind of two levels. To your point, you just mentioned some really outstanding players, and a couple of those guys are on this list. I was walking in our facility one time. We have a wall where we do honor, recognize some of the accomplishments of our walk-ons, and since I've been here, we've had 8 become captains, and that's about as high honor as you can get because you're voted on by your peers to become a captain. And I looked at that plaque and I'm wondering, which guys are we apt to miss here in the next 10 years that would have been here and developed into captains. The great thing about football, you just never know how a guy's going to develop.
And Pat, you listen to that. That's true. We kind of talk about, Brett, Jake Gervais. Rusty Van Wetzinga was up there playing and kind of the numbers crunch probably hurt him as well. As a guy who's in the program who sees walk-ons do well all the time, it's not a great situation to see a roster size get smaller. Your thoughts on what Coach said?
No, not at all. It's there's so many guys you can name. The big thing, the big one that always comes to mind is Dallas Clark. Dallas Clark was a walk-on linebacker. Would he have had that opportunity now? They turned out to be an all-pro, NFL legend, Colts Ring of Honor, just amazing football player, and Brett Greenwood as well too. So many guys I played with. It's hard. It's tough nowadays because you've got to judge a kid by who he is basically at 17, and then you've got to plan out his whole life for him. And kids like me included, I wasn't ideal, my first couple of years. Absolutely was not. And everybody develops at certain times. And the one thing about Iowa football, though, is if you continue to do what they say, continue to do what Coach Ferentz says, you're going to turn into a great player. In worst case scenario, you're going to be a good human, and you're going to have a successful college career, whether that's on the field or off the field. And it's tough. It's tough because there's so many guys that are going to end up falling through the cracks, and it's too bad. And what's crazy too, and I didn't even know this, is that they're still not unsure of the 105 roster.
Yeah,
it's still kind of up in the air. And then you've got colleges like Iowa that were very proactive after the season, like, hey, we might not have a spot for you. This is a good time now if you want to start looking, which I think is very honorable for them to do that. And I'm sure it was extremely hard, extremely tough conversations. It's like, how do you decide? And Coach Norm Parker would always say, he's like, I could get one kid on Monday and he could be a completely different kid on Tuesday and have it figured out. So he's like, I never give up on a kid, and it makes it really hard for these coaches. And obviously, I feel for him, and I hope that some structure gets there. But with college football, there's it's the Wild West, and a lot of times, and I think hopefully leadership picks up and makes some decisions.
Coach Ferentz mentioned that. He's like, we start the season in August, and we don't even know what our roster size is, and it's May. Like, the big boy world doesn't work this way, but college football continues to go down these weird. And he was great because he talked about, we don't know. I'd like to say I don't know how we got to this point, but he does. Like, we all know how it happened, how we got there, and how to fix it is God knows how. But it is interesting, especially from our area, because we have had those guys. Jaras is one of them as well. Like Jake. Yeah. And now one thing you will point out, it's like 105 or 106 or 105 and 85, whatever. There's 20-ish walk-ons still. So it's not like it completely goes away. But when you start stacking classes, you better hit. Like, the hit rate has to be a lot better, and you're still trimming a lot of guys that now you're suddenly ranking walk-ons and trying to figure it out instead of just giving guys opportunities and see how it goes. So I thought it was really.
We didn't even mention Joe Conklin. Didn't even mention Joe C., who was a huge contributor on our team, a big part of our Orange Bowl victory, and an amazing guy at the University of Iowa. He does so much for the university with fundraising and PR and everything like that. And where would he be if the roster limit was at 105?
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Obviously, probably Iowa State, since he left us early to go to Iowa State.
I think he did go.
He finally got smart, came back.
And just think, you guys we wouldn't know this whole thing wouldn't even be going on. Joe Conklin might not be in your life. You probably would not even be in his life.
I couldn't imagine a life without Joe Conklin.
Pat Anger joining us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. And we've gotten two or three Joe Conklin references in, so we're well ahead of schedule here for your weekly segment. I want to play another one. This is one that, because I remember going up, God, I'm not even going to remember the year. What year that Joe was still in the Quad Cities and we did this story with Brett and you guys working with Brett? Was probably 2019, 2020, I don't know. Anyways,
Sure.
I went up to interview Kirk and Doyle about Brett. And you and Joe were working out with him, still are, well, you are. And just talking with Kirk about Brett, just sitting across from him, like the emotion that he has. And so I wanted to kind of talk to him again about it. And here's some of what Kirk Ferentz had to say about Brett Greenwood Friday on Off the Air.
Yeah, I've got to go back to when my first exposure to Brett. Reese Morgan was the recruiting coach at that time, and Reese was with us for a long time, 20 plus years. One of the best coaches I've ever worked with, and maybe the best human being I've ever worked with in my entire career. But Reese had just a great eye for the right people. And whether it was Brett Greenwood, Mike Elgin, seemed like every year there was somebody, Josie Jewell, somebody that he would subtly bring up. And I learned over time, I got to listen deeper and closer to Reese, because he won't hit you hard with it. But if he mentions the player a couple times, you ought to pay attention, because he did that with all those guys. And Brett was on that list. So I'll never forget the first time I saw Brett. They were actually, he was out playing soccer. I don't know if it was a soccer team or just, gym class, but he was out there fooling around on the field, and met him that day at school there. And then obviously he came, and from day one, just, serious, focused, it had all the attributes that you're looking for. And then the question is, can he develop into a Division I athlete? And certainly he did that. The commonality there, typically, we've had one or two guys who are just so gifted, but typically it's the hard work the athlete puts in mentally and physically. And Brett, checks every box multiple times in those regards. So.
The hard work mentally and physically. You get to see this to this day. That got me fired up talking about, and that's Iowa football. It's not just Brett, but that's Iowa football. He mentioned not very often that somebody just walks on campus and is like, I'm a finished product. Kind of talk about what Iowa football is, because that's kind of what Iowa football does. And then Brett to a T, man, there's not a a better example of that than Brett as a football player and then today.
Yeah, I mean, Brett Greenwood is Iowa football. Guys like him, they are that, and the guys like Brett Greenwood don't come through. They don't come through very often. That's for sure. Brett was obviously he was a walk on, and when he redshirted his freshman year, Brett traveled to every single game, which does not happen really to anybody other than maybe a quarterback that you think is going to be the guy next year. But that when that happened, I knew like this guy's something special. And Brett was a kid that came in right away and did everything right, did absolutely everything right. And like Coach had said, he was very, very serious about developing. And we were out there, us young guys were out there doing stupid stuff, and Brett wasn't. Brett was preparing, but Brett was improving. And there's no obviously, when you get the call that initially, obviously it was Brett that had passed, and you can't kill guys like Brett Greenwood. Absolutely not. He's the best of us. And going back to, he mentions Coach Morgan, another guy that huge impact in Iowa football and a big reason why Iowa football has had the success that they had, because not only did he have an eye for talent, but he was also extremely wise and caring and knew how to get the best out of you, but also knew when you needed love as well too. He amazing leader and great human being as well.
Here's the last one I want to play for you. This is because I know we've talked about Kirk can't listen to you. He's kind of busy, and it was disappointing that he hasn't gone back and listened. He should go listen to every game. You'd think.
Sure, he's got other stuff going on.
Of course, you came up, and here's what Brett had to say about you. Hours is every Saturday in football season. What would you have told me? If I told you in 2009 that Pat Angerer would have a live microphone for 4 hours every Saturday in football season, what would you have told me?
Well, that would have been a little risky in 2009. That's for sure. No question about that. Fortunately, it's well hidden, but he has matured. And I always, when I think of Pat, I think of Tom Brantz. They're very spontaneous. There's a lot of good stuff coming out, but I think it's all very, Tom has always, I think, been very calculated. He knows fully knows what he's doing and what he's saying, and I think Pat's the same way.
Calculated. I think that's spot on when it comes to Pat Angerer. You're calculated.
I think my wife would probably disagree. Yeah, I hope my reputation doesn't get ruined knowing that I've kind of matured a little bit. No, it's anytime Coach Ferentz says good things about you, it's a good thing, and it means a lot. And I'm not the person I am today, or I wouldn't have had any success at all without Coach Ferentz and Iowa football. So he gets all the credit, and he will never take that. But he's the best, man, absolutely the best. And I know he had mentioned my with Greenwood and all that, and that's what we're taught. That's what you do. Your teammate, your friend needs help. That's what you do. Shouldn't be applauded, it shouldn't be, it shouldn't be, it's just, that's what you do. And that's what we're taught. And, yeah.
Did you and Brett get along when you were at Bettendorf and he was at PV?
No, I wanted to take his head off.
But did you not,
Brett was,
were you friends, enemies, rivals? Did you know each other at all?
I mean, not really on a personal level. No, I knew Brett just from playing against him growing up, and he was always the guy that was always, just trying really hard, and you couldn't break him. You couldn't it was like, dude, stop guarding, stuff like that. And he was always a huge competitor. And granted, he was a year younger than me, but we still played against each other growing up. And he was always a competitor, and he's always somebody that you knew if you were playing against Brett, then you better be ready to go, because you're going to get punched in the mouth if you weren't.
I did. Coach Ferentz did say you look awful. He said you were pushing.
I know you said that.
3 or 350. Oh, that was me.
You said that.
Okay. Before we go, let you go. I'm going to go. You got. By the way, you framed your shot beautifully. If you look out your window, there's an American flag. Did you do that on purpose?
Damn right I did.
Dang. It doesn't surprise me. You probably did. That's well done. I don't think you did though. How was your weekend?
It was all right. Wasn't too crazy. The hard part, Emmett played in Peoria at 8 a.m. on Sunday, so that was an early morning, and then we drove up there and they got 10 runs. So that was, sometimes 11-year-olds don't play good, believe it or
Weird.
not. Sometimes they have bad days. Isn't it
Yeah.
crazy? But some parents don't understand that sometimes they act like they're 11, and sometimes they act like they're younger than that, and sometimes they're going to have tough days. And luckily they had that, and sometimes you need your ass kicked too, and that's good for you as well.
So you got me in trouble last week because you mentioned, like, I can't remember if it was Kale or Emmett, and you were being funny, but they went with the strategy of on Sunday of watching every pitch go down the middle and then getting upset and slamming the stuff and obviously you're joking, but I played it for one of my kids. I can't remember which one, and they're like, I played it for them. They go, "Shut up, Dad. I'm trying," and they quickly turned it into like I was making fun of them. I'm like, "Oh, whoa, truth hurts, doesn't it?" Sometimes. So you got me in trouble a little bit when it came to my own kids as well. Did anybody win anything? Did you do anything good?
Avery got second in her soccer tournament.
How many
which
hat
is great.
tricks? Like 15, 16 hat tricks?
No, I think she only scored a couple goals this weekend, but I'll take it. She's fun to watch. I just love the stage because obviously me and you, we've been through everything, and now it's like we're starting over with her, and it's a lot more enjoyable because you know what matters and what doesn't, and really at the end of the day, nothing really matters as long as she's smiling and having a good time. That's what it's all about. And I hope it never gets too serious.
Isn't that the truth though? Like now that you've done it with older ones, it's like you're kind of relocked into like, wait a minute, like it's perspective, which is weird. Is Avery your favorite?
I
Nobody's
love them all
listening.
equally, but
No, you don't.
yeah, most of the time. It depends on the day too. It depends on the day. But yeah, my daughter's probably always going to be my favorite for sure.
On that
My
note,
boys are too much like me. My boys are too much like me to, yeah.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. You're the voice of Iowa football. If
I'm not.
if they're
That's
you,
Gary Dolphin. Gary Dolphin's the voice. I was with Gary on Thursday. We went to dinner up in Des Moines for a fundraiser, and we walked in there. There was a UFC this weekend, and the hotel we were at, there was all these UFC fighters, and you had the Russians over here, the Brazilians over there, the Europeans, the Americans, and I walked in there, and everybody had cauliflower, and everybody stared at me like they wanted to kick my ass. I've never had that happen before. And then some girl came up to me and said, "Hey, are you a UFC fighter?" And I was like, "No, I'm a banker." I never felt like such a wimp before in my life.
It's weird because I go into every place I go into and everybody wants to kick my ass. But that's unfortunately, I'm not well liked. Speaking of charity real fast, over the weekend, the Chuck Long charity auction went fantastic. And believe it or not, someone paid nearly $700 to have dinner with you and Tom Caker and
Matt Randazzo.
Mainly.
When are we doing this? Let's go tonight.
Hey, Tommy got the distillery thing. So that was like, I came home and my wife's like, "What'd you get?" And I'm like, "Oh, I did this and this," but, I'm more excited about what Tom got because that means I get to tag along with. So Tommy's going to treat us to some whiskey here real soon. So, all right, buddy.
The Children's Therapy Center is a great organization. It's a wonderful, and Chris and Angie, they do such a good job over there for kids in our community. And obviously IH, we support Children's Therapy as well, center as well. And yeah, it's a good one. We're lucky to have them in our community.
Yeah, and it helps kids right here in the Quad Cities. The beauty part. Sometimes you go do things and you don't know exactly where the money this money goes and impacts kids right here in the Quad Cities that need it. So, all right, my friend, you gotta tackle the world. Where are you golfing at this afternoon?
Nowhere, but I'm golfing Thursday and Friday, so we'll see how that goes.
Man, the life of a banker. Is that what it is? I got to get me one of those. All right, the one and only Pat Anger. Thanks, my friend.
Love you.
See you, bud. That is Pat Anger, usually on a Monday, but we had to be patient because he was out training for the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing. So, and that's a good thing. Also, that's coming up on June 14th. GuyRandazzoGolf.com if you're interested in joining us, which you should be because it's a blast. You guys will have a ton of fun. So we got our first break of the day coming up. My good friend John Marks. We go from Pat Anger to a well-respected member of the media. John Marks is with us right after this on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
Quad Cities, are you brave enough for halfway to Halloween? Friday, May 16th, the Steamwheelers battle on Tulsa in a night of haunted hits and bone-crushing indoor football action. It's spooky fun for the whole family, complete with a haunted house and high-flying IFL football that'll leave you howling. Snag your tickets now at steamwheelersfootball.com/tickets and come get scared and entertained. Friday night, May 16th, presented by Asylum of Mad Dreams and Slick Willie Radio.
The PGA Tour swings into the Quad Cities again this summer, and you don't want to miss it. The John Deere Classic brings golf, music, magic, and more to TPC Deer Run, July 2nd through the 6th. Wednesday, July 2nd is Youth Day, and ages 15 and under are free all week, making it perfect for the whole family. Stick around after the golf on the weekend for the concerts on the Course Series, featuring country superstar Dierks Bentley on Saturday, and Grammy Award-winning Zac Brown Band on Sunday. Come for the golf, stay for the party. Visit JohnDeereClassic.com to get your tickets before they sell out.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities, Tuesday, May 6th. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Beautiful weather outside. And, you know, it was weird. I was talking to my wife this weekend and trying to figure out how long, like, I've actually been doing this. And it's been 4 months today. So I figured I'd celebrate by having, wait for it. I still don't know how to punch the buttons correctly. I don't know what Pat was doing. I have my good friend and media. I don't know how to introduce you. I can't say that on TV.
You can't use that word.
No, I can't.
But,
I can't.
Okay. I was a newspaper columnist for 37 years. I do TV,
radio. A legend?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You're okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who are you to fight public opinion? Right?
In between surgery, I get to coach some high school baseball and everything.
That's what I want to start with because you and I don't want to, but like you're doing good. You had hip surgery.
He had hip replacement. This will be Thursday, would be a month. And the walker was gone in 3 days. The cane was gone in 5. And I didn't want either one of them, but I have great physical therapist and Chad Humphrey. And Dr. Conley did a great job. I had one on the other side 25 years ago. And both are. Maddie, you saw me. I couldn't walk.
Yeah.
So, and I want to be a baby about it.
Wear and tear from baseball?
And just life and training and arthritis. I have osteoarthritis. So
when I was, God, I'm old, which makes you Noah, but
real old.
it was like if you got your hip replaced, you're like, oh man, you don't want to have to do that. That's not the way it is anymore. Kind of talk about that, because it's
even 25 years ago, and I was one of the youngest that they had done at 41. It was revolutionary. The thing, pay attention to this. 25 years ago, surgery took 5 hours. 93 minutes.
No way.
93. It was like a drive-through. I walked in and they're phenomenal work. I didn't back then. I spent 4 days in the hospital, and I was overnight and went home the next morning. Life's good, man. It's nice when your wife sees you in the middle of the night crawling to the bathroom because you couldn't walk.
Yeah.
It's time to.
Oh yeah.
And I tried to avoid it, Maddie. I said, look, I'd like to continue coaching this spring. I want to coach this summer, and I'll be in an airport all over in the fall. It's only a 6-hour drive to watch Jack, but there's some places I'll be flying to. And he said, you really should do it now. Yeah. And I said, no, I'm gonna. And then I went 2 weeks without being able to walk. I mean, normal, and or 16 Advil a day. And so I said, look, let's do this. And we did, and phenomenal thing. You talk about your bride, Tanya took care. I mean, I have I had the best nurse in the world, and my wife. I love you. You know that. We're way out over our skis.
Yeah.
We talk about that all the time. Mm-hmm. I'm married smart. I'm married pretty. I'm an idiot. She certainly took a step down like your wife did. But the other part of it is she was a great help, and it helps to do what I do for a living and have my physical therapist 7 steps away.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking about changing. I don't know if Jen's on my level. I think I'm better.
At what?
No, I don't think
what?
that at all.
No,
I can't even say that.
I'm going to disclaimer that at what?
I can't even say that with a straight face.
I know a straight face. So,
no.
I am truly, truly, truly blessed. I'm glad I did it, and it was the smartest thing. And coaching-wise, Thomas and those guys, they're phenomenal. Yeah. They kept tabs on me, and I get game changer, and I could. Yeah, so
did the kids miss getting yelled at a little extra? Did you just? If I were you, I would just came back nice. And just ripped ass. I would just start yelling at everybody, and then be done.
Well, once I got back and started yelling, things were back to normal. But it was nice the first day back that they all came up and I specifically, and I believe this is a byproduct of Thomas not wanting to bother me at all for the 2 weeks before I could go back.
Yeah,
and it was, first day I showed up, it was raining, and you guys are playing on the other diamond, you understand it, and I brought my cane and I felt like I was 100 years old, so Mark Venata, the athletic director, drove out and got me from my car, and Donnie Hauer, when it was raining, took me, but she said, no,
and
dude,
you hate that.
Absolutely.
I mean, you love the fact that they did it, but you just don't like.
And the doctor says, and the therapist says, your worst enemies are grass and wet grass.
And there you are.
Because if I fall and slip, I'm done. Yeah. But phenomenal, Dr. Conley. God bless you, Chad Humphrey. You are beyond a great person, and my wife and I feel good. I just, if we were sitting in the old days, I'd cross my legs. Can't do that.
Yeah,
it'll dislocate.
But you can't ever, or
it'll get to a point where I can slightly.
Yeah.
But I don't. I learned with the other one not to do it.
That's much better. That's a good trade-off.
I can sleep. I can walk. in 2 months, I'll be able to play golf and poorly, but I'll be able to hit a fungo. But so.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, no, it was funny because I think one of my kids was like, "Who's on the show?" I can't remember who, and I'm like, Pat, and then Uncle Johnny's coming out, and he's like, "What are you going to talk to him about?" And I was like, "It doesn't matter. Like, we'll talk probably for too long." But I do want to mention
brother Charlie Balin on his first swing Saturday. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, guys. He had a good. I know we'll talk afterwards.
We'll talk
later.
Had a
good day yesterday, but it's funny. Dad says something and nobody listens. I show him a text. And it's weird how all of a sudden somebody listens. But it was 4 months ago, January 6th, that I started this thing. And that's not a big thing. 4 months
it is.
Not no, it's maybe a year. If I last a year, we can do a celebration or all that kind of stuff. So I'm not that. One of my biggest pet peeves in the business was like somebody would put up like, been at this station for a year. Or I've been at the station for 2 years, and I'll be like, I have underwear that's way older than that. Like, what do we like? So it's not that, but it was just a cool way to kind of like think back. And for me, more, it's like thank you to like my sponsors and people like you and people that supported it from the jump. I was talking to Tom Kakert the other day, and Tommy's great, but like people like Chad Leistico and Scott Docterman and Rob Brooks that like don't have to do anything for me.
Absolutely not.
Add credibility to me putting a stupid camera in my upstairs and doing this. So
Matt Whitefield helping you get Coach Ferentz.
Yeah, I mean, like all those kind of things are fantastic. So it was kind of fun to sit there and think like, we did 4 months. I was going to mention something in 3 months, and like I'm surviving, and it's good. And it's fun.
And again, I apologize. You don't need me to stroke you.
No.
You could have gone and done 1,000. Seriously, you could have went and got another gig in a heartbeat. There were ample opportunities. This is something that you walked out on a limb, and you're still standing on the bit of that branch, and it hasn't broken.
No.
You've taken it, and you're learning, and you continue to build a really bad metaphor. The build yourself with your own tree, and your foundation is in solid footing. So please, I'm proud. You don't need me to tell you. I'm proud of you. You've done a great job. Continue to do it. And I would really upgrade the studio, though.
That's why I brought him in. That's it. To John Marks, I'm leaving him on my head.
I know I said something nice to you guys. Time to stop.
Can we cut that? That's the new open. No, but the cool thing is I'm excited about like going over to Oscars and doing the show there.
Oh, that was a ride. And you guys did a great job.
And I survived, and I could, this is all inside baseball, but I could do it. I could, not the talking stuff, but the moving it and the getting equipment to places opens up things that I can do later at events over the summer. Maybe an Iowa Football Media Day. I want to go up to Iowa Football Media Day, and you know what it's like up there.
Absolutely.
I can just set up on that practice field.
Take me with you.
Yes, 100%. And you can, and then like, hey, whenever Kirk is ready, he can come talk. Pat's roaming around. He can come over and talk. Local player and all that kind of stuff.
If the Big Ten Network doesn't, Matty, why can't you?
Yeah, well, the Big
I
Ten
know.
Network,
No, I'm saying you've got 4 chairs. Take 4 people. Take Tom. Take me.
It's so
there's that media thing.
That's the thing is and we're going to talk sports here too, but like there's a lot of different ways that I can, and I feel like I'm younger again, where like I'm and not that I wasn't what I was doing, but like a rebirth, if that makes any sense. There's a bunch of fun different things, and you know what? I'm that type of person that you throw something against the wall. If it sticks, it's awesome. If it's not, you just move on to the next thing. Yep. So it's been a lot of fun. Caitlin Clark was in Iowa City.
Yep.
And anytime, what I have learned is anytime I talk about Caitlin Clark, people listen.
Yep.
Which is a beautiful thing. But not that anybody was surprised by it or anything like that, but just that atmosphere. And be honest, if I would have told you 10 years ago, 5 years ago, that there was an exhibition WNBA game at a Carver Hawkeye Arena and it was going for $600 a ticket and 15.5 were going, you would have thought I was nuts.
Okay, can I take that a step further? Would I have, had I not had surgery, we would have gone.
Yeah.
Would I have called a friend of ours and gotten regular normal price tickets for my wife? Would I have done that 5 years ago? Not a chance. Would my wife and I have set our Sunday schedule to 3:00 Central Time to sit down and watch? Had it not been, no, you know what? Megan Gustafson, I watched it down the stretch. Big fan, but there's something she transcended. I know she transcended the game. She changed women's basketball. You should be a pro, and she does it with the right. We've dealt with her. She does it in the right way. Rob will tell you she does it in the right way.
I'm waiting for her to mess up. I'm waiting for her to like, and not in a bad way, but like nobody's perfect. Everybody's going to mess up and say something they shouldn't or do. And she's been.
No, that's not in her makeup.
Yeah.
That's where she comes from. Check her parents. Check the way she carries herself. The worst thing that happened is we all worried that she was hurt Saturday.
Yeah.
And so she changed the game, but she also had, we'll use Jan and Lisa, and I coach with Lisa at Ambrose, as two people that allowed her to be her, built the basketball team around her with a solid post presence and Cinzano, and then guard presence around her. And they did a great job recruiting around her, but they knew they had something special with her, and she took it to another level, man. She doesn't. No, you're right. She doesn't screw up. She's not an idiot.
Yeah. I want to take it a step further when it comes to, yes, she was the reason, and I get that. I totally understand it. I love watching it, all that kind of stuff. But Johnny, I've I like to sports gamble, so that's probably why I know more about the NBA than a lot of people do. But when you start watching and then you start watching the product and the game, like it's really good.
It's really good.
It's like the playoffs, and everybody watched the playoffs when the Fever were in it, but it's high quality basketball. I get people are watching for Caitlin, but it's cliche, but she's bringing eyes to the game, and what people are realizing is the game's pretty fun too.
It's always been, and everybody wants to dunk. Everybody wants to take you off the dribble. That's one of the things. Pat Sumlitt's my favorite basketball coach of all time.
Yeah.
Because she taught you, to push the ball up the floor, pass the ball correctly, chest pass, bounce pass, whatever it might take. I thought she transcended the game. I thought Gino transcended the game because he did the same thing. He got a great post player in Rebecca Lobo, and then surrounded with great guards, and they passed the ball, ran the floor, and defended. Guys basketball doesn't do it, Matty. Watch the Celtics. They shot 50-some threes last night and couldn't take the ball into the post to win the basketball game.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum drives me nuts, and I like the Celtics.
Yeah.
So, and I don't like the Knicks, but we watch it. We watch them blow a 20. What WNBA team would blow a 20-point lead?
No, I get it.
You fundamentally do it right until
they're so fundamental that, like, one, their free throw shooting is better.
Yep.
Two, like, they don't give up in games. Like, they can be down, because I live bet, but they can be down 11 with like a minute to go and they're still following. They're still doing things correctly. They're still it's brought that. And so we talked on the show yesterday. It was Tom Kakert, Kyle Huseman, two of the best from the Hawkeye Report, and I tweeted out, and I hate to tweet or post if it's X, whatever, to pander. Like, I don't like doing that. There's certain things that are like easy, like slam dunks and everything like that. And I felt like it almost was that after I got done, but I really felt this. Like, the state of Iowa is just different when it comes to women's basketball. So my bigger question is, and I said, like, the state of Iowa deserves a WNBA team, and I would have never said that 5 years ago. I know the process. I had some people come back to me and say, well, like, they're doing the expansion now, but it's not going to be done. I'm not saying tomorrow, or I'm not saying like in 2 years, but in general, it's different in that state. And it's not just Iowa. No. Northern Iowa has a great following.
Yes.
Iowa State, what Bill Fenley does. Drake. I mean, the state of Iowa, I think, would support. And think about it. What's the other? There's no pro sports team in the state of Iowa.
Well, so other than AAA baseball.
Yeah, I mean, like when the major level.
There's no major league. Yeah. So
like that would be that. Yep. I mean, I think it would be successful.
So do I.
But
you put it in Cedar Rapids or Des Moines. There's your. I remember the CBA failing in Cedar Rapids. Of course, Kevin Krause.
Doesn't it have to be in Des Moines just because the more people are there?
What do you do where are you going to put it in Iowa City?
Like, I mean, the only place you can put it is, well, gosh, you can't. It would have to be up in Cedar Rapids at the
Five Flags,
and that probably is not big enough.
No, you have to go to Des Moines or Wells Fargo.
Yeah. And I just think, like, I mean, there's a ton of Iowa fans everywhere. I was that guy, Johnny, that was like, okay, this was great and Caitlin's amazing, and they're going to show up next year when she's gone. But if they're not winning by like December, January, they're going to go away.
They're going to go back.
They did. And here's the thing is, it was tested. They lost 7 in a row in the middle of the season. And I was like, okay, let's watch the bottom fall out of this thing. And people kept going.
Though.
What's that?
That's Jan Jensen.
Yeah, 100%.
Things aren't going to fall out. Again, as big a fan of Lisa, I'm as big a fan of Jan.
But the people that say it's Caitlin only, and I get it. It is. She's generational talent. I understand all that. But it's not because she's gone and they're still doing it.
It's knowledgeable basketball fans that care about the game being played correctly. And it helps to have the world's most famous female basketball player. Oh, sorry, Rebecca. Sorry, Aaliyah Boston. Sorry, Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi or Paige Beckers.
Yeah,
it's Caitlin Clark played there. That's and from Des Moines and played at Dowling. That all helps and filters in. And anytime you can, and she wears that moniker very well. It'll always be. Basketball will always be good at the University of Iowa, and people will always support. Now, will there always be 10 years from now? Will there be 15,500 every Tuesday and Sunday? Maybe, I don't know, but that remains to be seen.
I was telling a friend of mine the other day, I never imagined that like Carver would sell out for a May exhibition WNBA game, but the men's basketball team averaged 5,000 a pop. That was like, so
That's
you look
gonna
at
change though.
I thought what 100%.
Starting with the blue ties behind the bench or whoever.
Yeah.
He's special.
No, I think
he's
it's
special.
And it is encouraging to know that like things now it's encouraging for fans, probably frustrating for former coaching staff because they didn't have the funds, I don't think, that they do now. But I think he's doing it correctly where they're going to go and they're going to pay the guys they need to pay, and then they're going to try to develop around them.
Yep.
They're not like Kentucky where they're going to probably pay 1 through 11. They're going to pay, and I don't mean everybody's going to get a little bit, but I think they're going to pay a lot for, they're going to pay a lot for like 1 through 3 or 4 where they need to, maybe 5, and then develop. And I think they can do both. I think they can develop, and that might be fun to watch as well. I wanted to talk about the NFL draft because we had a local player drafted.
And you had him on your show at Oscars. Darian did a great job.
Yeah.
What a great kid.
One is a very intelligent kid, although the one thing I would question is, it's draft weekend. I'm going to go over to a bar with Pat Anger and Matt Randazzo. Like, I don't, like, that might be like
the day before, mind you.
Well, and I told him when he got there, because I felt bad asking because it was technically the first round of the draft.
Right.
And I looked and everything pointed to the second round, but I didn't want to call and tell him, hey, you're going to get drafted tomorrow, come over tonight. And so, but he was the first to say, like, I don't think it's going to happen tonight. It's not, he's like, it's not going to happen tonight, but very smart young man, and talk about a lesson for young people, because in today's day and age of college, like he wanted to be there. He wanted to be around those people and be at that school, and he worked hard and got what he wanted to get to. I think that's really cool.
In 6 years from now, he'll still be, I know, what's the average life in an NFL player? 4.5?
Probably.
Okay. Because he is an elite special teams player, he will always have a job in the NFL. He's just learning how to play corner.
Yeah.
He runs well. He has, I don't know. And I've seen film. Back to the ball. Come on. He's just as fast as he can keep up. He'll learn. And he got better as the year went along in his first full year. But he led the nation in block punts. He's as good as it gets. Smart kid, hard worker. He will always have a job, and he will be paid. And he may be that elite Pro Bowl Steve Tasker with the guy that fills in the first couple of years on the back end. He's good.
Yeah.
And he runs like the wind, man.
Good play. Yeah. 4.3's 4.3. I loved it. I asked him, not at Oscars. He was on the show maybe 3 weeks before that. And I asked him like about the 4.3, and he's like, I wanted to run on the 4.2s, but I'm good. And like, I'm like, yeah, you're good. Trust me. That's a good thing. It's like taking a test at school and getting a 99 and be like, oh, I want to try it again to get 100. You did great.
The old guy you just had on before me, the bald guy.
Yeah.
Okay. People had no idea how great feet as maybe an elite NFL side to side guy. That's why he was a sec. We talked that night. You were going to go over the house, maybe the 5th round. Boom. You had to adjust to, because you got to take. They saw that. Yeah. That's how gifted that oddball is.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. And if he'd still be playing if he doesn't get hurt. I swear to God.
Oh.
No one went side to side, head across tackle issues than him.
Still be
phenomenal.
playing. He's 30 whatever years old. He's old as dirt.
I don't care.
He would have played a lot longer
Yes.
than what he would have played. I know what you're saying.
Phenomenal athlete.
When and I wanted to kind of look a big picture because it had been a minute. Like now there's 2 in a row from the Quad Cities with Logan Lee.
Yep.
And then with Darian. But before that, I mean, you can throw David Johnson in from Clinton. And then after that, it's
Don't say Willies. Don't say
Julian
Derek
and
Willies.
Pat. What's that?
Don't say it was Julian and Pat.
Julian and Pat. But it bit a little bit. What's that?
Casey undrafted.
Who?
Casey Kreider.
Yeah. Was he? Yeah, undrafted. I see what you're saying. And Jake Gervais was undrafted.
Yep. We got biggest Super Bowl ring.
It's really cool to have 2 in a row, and I don't know when he goes where, but I do.
Charlie.
Is the next guy from our area
absolutely.
Charles?
Absolutely.
And can he get in the first? I mean, I've seen Marx.
I know some free agent. I know. We'll just leave it at that. I know somebody has a UFL tryout in December, but
yeah, there you go.
So, but is the next draft guy Charlie?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it depends on this year if that's 1, 2, 3. You can't, first of all, can't teach 6, 7. You can't teach the feet that he has.
Yeah.
They are amazing. And long arms. Don't play is it Will Campbell? Don't give me the short arm crap.
Yeah.
He's a monster.
Yep.
Tyler Linderbaum has small hands. He's only been All-Pro every year in the NFL. So Mel Kiper, shut up. Seriously, don't play that. Short arms.
Yeah.
He's the best blocking guy in college football.
In the SEC.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So take that a step further. Do I think Charlie has every tool? A, smart, B, gifted, every tool, and works at the game, works at his craft. If he can stay injury free, and absolutely, probably one.
I've seen him. Tom Kakert sent me a NFL mock draft that had him in the first round.
Absolutely.
And now
Wouldn't that be phenomenal?
Don't put cart ahead of horse and
No, I'm not
like
one
I
to
said,
jinx it. Plus, but you root for. He's
we're
one of my
biased.
favorite.
We're biased, too.
Yeah, we are biased.
Yeah.
I coach. He's great. One of the best kids you'll ever.
Yeah.
Well, you know this. Is phenomenal human being.
A lot of Notre Dame fans out there that watch, Charles Jugusall will also be at the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing. So if you want to sign up and get a team and see a guy who played in the national championship game, and what a nice! I tell
be
the
there for
story.
dinner.
I called my son Charlie, and I hit the wrong Charles, and it went right to his answering machine, which is no big deal. And I'm like, oh God, that was the wrong. And so I talked to Charlie, whatever, my Charlie, and then I'm getting up in the 5 o'clock in the morning to take a piss like I normally do because I'm old.
You're old.
And I look down at my phone and a text message comes in, and it's Charles Jugusall. And he's like, hey, I'm sorry, Matt. I saw you called last night. I've been under the weather the last couple days, but let me know what you needed and I can get back to you as soon as I can.
Does that
That's all you need to know about Charles Jugusall.
Please, and don't. Moeen's Matthew. Who's the
Matt Bailey.
Matt Bailey? First or second?
Yeah.
Matthew Bailey will play on Sunday.
Oh, 100%. Where is he? Is he a senior now? He's got to be
He's
close.
in that area. Yeah.
Yeah.
He will play on Sunday.
That's-
Whether that's I apologize to you Moline football fans and Coach. We'll hear from Coach Morrissey for forgetting Matthew Bailey.
I knew.
And
No, by me. It was him.
but I remembered you.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Cole Rusk.
Yeah. Yep.
Do I think he has NFL hands? We'll see. But he certainly has NFL ability to block.
Oh, absolutely.
And so there's others.
While we're at it, Cole Rusk will be at the at the Guy Randazzo. I am not dead, so I can't have my own memorial golf outing. But the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing as well.
I actually get to come for dinner.
What's that? Yeah,
I actually get to come for dinner.
And
spend money.
What is what was I going to ask you about? Cinco de Mayo yesterday. Did you go partake in tacos or anything around the area? I know you had to work.
I had TV. I had work and then television. And then, you know what I did partake in? I drove from John Deere Road, where there were 6 state troopers out running speed traps. Then I went to the I-74 bridge, where there were also, and then I went, So I went down at another busy intersection. They were out all over the place yesterday. People drinking.
Why?
Is it New Year's Eve, Cinco de Mayo now?
I get,
or that it was you got to get that quote in.
It is a thing in the Randazzo household, not like we're going to a party, but like it's known it's Cinco de Mayo. Like, where are we having Mexican food?
I know.
Of
Did
course,
you go Snoop's?
Well, Snoop brought that over, so we
Okay.
had. It's his size of large. That thing is, there's like a little bit of crumbs left, and he brought it yesterday at noon, and the kids just destroyed it. Kids/Jen.
I love Snoop
and myself.
I love that.
Besides Snoop, we'll move him to the side. Do you have a Mexican place in the Quad Cities that you would tell people like, hey, this is where I go to get it?
Because Mrs. Mejia is no longer with us, and I grew up in the Mejia household. But habaneros.
Okay.
South
Yeah.
Park. They try. They get close.
Yeah.
La Rancherita on
Yes.
the 14th. The Villalobos family they get real close. Almost as their beans are almost Elmo Mejia like beans.
Okay.
So, and Enrique is one of our players, and every day I get to tell him how great his family's restaurant is.
Charlie's in Spanish class up at Alum, and they're going on a field trip to La Rancherita.
Oh, okay. They're going to the Rock Island one?
Rock Island, just
okay.
right across
across the street. Okay.
Easy walk or whatever.
Yep. There used to be a place in East Moline where the seniors would go on their Cinco de Mayo day.
He's they're just the teacher's trying to convince them to eat beef tongue. And Snoop sat there yesterday and said beef tongue is where it's at. It's the most tender, best part of the.
If tenderized and with enough flavor in it, yeah. I ate it and I didn't have I ate it in tacos. Had no idea I was doing it when I was 16 years old.
Yeah. That's the thing is, as long as you don't know, I tell people all the time, you can get kids to eat whatever. You just got to deep fry it and they'll eat whatever. We get to do TV next week.
Yep. With MediaCom softball, United Township. I can't remember who it's at UT, but that's we're fortunate, you and I, with the Fred Klauke first and now Sarah Zabadell, who and Pete Ivanek and I have been doing it 19 years.
That's amazing. Is it 19?
Wow. The Midwest League All-Star Game in 2006 was the first game that we did, and it was with Bob Brooks, and me in the booth, and Pete doing the sideline.
I remember that. Yep. I can remember because you guys would Rob come down to do Bandits?
Yep. And then I would go to Cedar Rapids to do Colonel's games.
Yeah. And
I still go to Cedar Rapids quite a bit.
Honestly, and people ask like, "Hey, we'll be doing it," and people say, "Or I'll be," and they're like, "How can you?" Where? It's amazing because you know how important high school sports are in this area, and and I'm not. I mean, I love what the local TV stations do, and Jay and Corey and Joey and all that stuff. But to be able to if you want to watch your kid play an entire game, you can go watch it.
We were live yesterday. They're live.
Oh, I got a 7-second delay for me next week.
Well, especially as all the freewheeling you've had the opportunity to do here. So it's again Fred Klauke, Sarah Zabadell. There's a great staff. Pete Ivanek and I, and you'd be surprised. And we both laugh at this. How many people that ask, how do I get involved? Dude, I showed up 20 years ago and didn't leave. Yeah. So. It's great fun, and I also have another show.
You mentioned fun though. That's it's so enjoyable. The people that help, the people that work, the camera people, the production, phenomenal. They're all fun. They feed you. I got an email yesterday that said, "Hey, put your order in for dinner." I'm like, my goodness.
And Hungry Hobo with that.
I know. Good, very, very well done, Johnny.
Well,
very
can
well
I take
done.
that a step further? I don't take medicine well. When I had Oxy.
Yeah.
And I had it for one day, and the next day I woke up, I felt like a train was running through my head, and there was echoes everywhere. I just don't, I'm not that guy. I haven't drank in 40 years. Yeah. So I felt like crap. So called my doctor, he said he quit taking the Oxy, and I had to take the blood thinner, the aspirin for a headache, and my stomach was just screwed up. So you know how I fixed it? I need 11 King and a bowl of twice baked potato soup from the Bettendorf Hungry Hobo. Bryce, I love you, brother. And I texted him and told him, and I went 3 days straight with all I ate was an 11 King and soup from Hungry Hobo, right as rain.
When I worked at WQAD, because it's right there by Browning, I would 4 days a week. It would be a number one chicken grill, a chicken. Waffle fry, which shouldn't have been a waffle fry sometimes. They need to mix in the baked lays every now and then, but especially during the winter, the waffle fry is where you got to go. And I absolutely live there. So
Jackson Marks tried to teach a deli in Amherst, Massachusetts, the secret to the Hungry Hobo grilled chicken, and they couldn't master it.
Nice. Well, you can't. So you just got to come back to the Quad Cities to get it.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. So we do that next Tuesday.
Yep.
And like I said, if you guys, and then you do the show as well. You have your own show.
Keeping Up in the Quad Cities is we film 3 or 4 at a time. We do eight every month, and it's if you have a 501c3 or you have a group that tries to do things the right way, or you're sharing something that positively impacts our community, and come on. Tomorrow I get to sit down with Michelle Juring with the Quad City Times Big 7, and then our good buddy Joe Moreno, who I absolutely freaking adore. Yeah. We get to talk all the firecracker and the Freedom Run and then the marathon. There's That's the easiest 2 shows that I'll ever
Yeah.
get to do in my life, Matt, because they are 2 of the finest people on God's green earth.
Yep, it's easy to promote good people and good events and good things, and that's what you got coming up. So
Like you do here. And 4 months, big boy.
Yeah.
And she hasn't divorced
anybody
you.
who had under 3.5
I had
months.
I had 3 in the pool.
Yeah, so,
So
pay up,
I'd be
baby. Pay up. No, I don't. You know what? There's certain nights though, running kids around, chauffeuring. I was just texting our good friend Jerry Burkhead about. I'm like, hey, I didn't get back to you yesterday. I was chauffeuring kids around. He's like, that's what I do too. So we're just a taxi cab service.
You 2 are leading the nation.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Talk about another person who married.
Oh my goodness, way out over his skis.
Yeah.
But one of my all-time favorite people.
Yeah, absolutely. So he is John Marks. Check out his stuff on Mediacom. And thank you for always coming in here and taking part in this. And we'll be rocking and rolling next Tuesday.
Yeah, we will.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
You, Pally.
All right. So we got a lot more to get to on today's show. Coming up after the break, the Blackhawk baseball team, no surprise, is really, really good. It's a fantastic program. We're going to be joined by assistant coach Noah Wethington to talk about Blackhawk, but also a special guy to him. His dad, Gary Wethington, passed away recently. They honored him at a baseball game of the Western Big Six yesterday. We'll talk about that and much more right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. We'll be right back. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
Quad Cities, are you brave enough for halfway to Halloween? Friday, May 16th, the Steamwheelers battle on Tulsa in a night of haunted hits and bone-crushing indoor football action. It's spooky fun for the whole family, complete with a haunted house and high-flying IFL football that'll leave you howling. Snag your tickets now at steamwheelersfootball.com/tickets and come get scared and entertained. Friday night, May 16th, presented by Asylum of Mad Dreams and Slick Willie Radio.
The PGA Tour swings into the Quad Cities again this summer, and you don't want to miss it. The John Deere Classic brings golf, music, magic, and more to TPC Deer Run, July 2nd through the 6th. Wednesday, July 2nd is Youth Day, and ages 15 and under are free all week, making it perfect for the whole family. Stick around after the golf on the weekend for the concerts on the Course Series, featuring country superstar Dierks Bentley on Saturday, and Grammy Award-winning Zac Brown Band on Sunday. Come for the golf, stay for the party. Visit JohnDeereClassic.com to get your tickets before they sell out.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. A beautiful Tuesday it is. Baseball season, of course, in full swing. And for a lot of people, it's hitting the home stretch. And I really wanted to talk to this young man right here sometime this week. It's Noah Wethington, assistant baseball coach at Blackhawk College. A great athlete of his own at Alum High School. It's a good time to be part of the Blackhawk baseball program. First and foremost, Noah, thank you for joining us, and you look like you're loving this beautiful spring day outside.
Yeah, you know how it is when you have children. You have to just be outside a lot more. So, yes, I tend to gravitate towards the nice weather, of course.
I love it. I love it. I agree 100%. I want to talk to you about Blackhawk, your sport and the Blackhawk stuff. We're going to get to that in a second. But I know last night was a special night for you at Rock Island High School. Alum and Rocky's always special. But they honored Gary Wethington, your dad, who unfortunately passed away recently. Kind of talk about what last night was like and what it meant to you and your family to have a night like that.
Yeah. Scudder reached out a few months ago and just said, hey, we want to plan something for your dad. He made sure everyone was okay with it. They read a nice big long speech about him. Coach Hughes Camp came, Coach Tom Teeger came. So there's a lot of familiar faces. A lot of support, man. It's crazy. Every time we do stuff in his memory, we have just an outpouring of support from this community. So we could not be happier. I got to see some former players, some current players, some guys we haven't seen in a while. So it was very cool to get out there before the game because Rocky Allman has always been close to my heart for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Your dad, a baseball coach around the area as well. And when it comes to impacting young people, he did that. Kind of talk to that because I think you know it when he's with us. I have an old man that passed away as well. You know their impact while they're here, and unfortunately it's magnified when they're not. You saw that firsthand. He impacted kids, didn't he?
Yeah, a lot of kids. I mean, you start at the Little League era, and he coached all the way up to high school baseball, and he was with the Rock Island Rocks when he did pass. But no, he's coached everywhere from Allman to Rocky, Little League, Hitman. Like, he's coached all these schools. And I guess I didn't understand his impact really until he passed. It's one of those things where you take it for granted because you're in the moment a little bit. And then when he passed, and just the amount of support I had and the amount of people that messaged me about stories and just how he impacted their lives. And I had a kid tell me, former Allman player, come up to me and tell me, hey, when I didn't make the team one year, your dad stood up for me. He called the coach for me. He told the coach I was an asset to the team. And like stories like that, it really puts how much of an impact he had into perspective for a lot of people. And I think that was a cool part of last night is we got to reap the benefits a little bit of how many people he has helped and so many people coming up and hugging and telling us stories. And I mean, those are the things that are going to keep his name alive. So we really appreciate those things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You look at it too. I always tell people with my dad, like, we do a golf outing, obviously. And I think he would be blown away / kind of shy about it because, like, they're modest people. I'm sure your dad kind of the same way. That's a cool thing to have, but he didn't do it so that eventually they'd have a day for him. He did it because he loved young people and loved baseball, didn't he?
I mean, that's all he did. That's all he talked about. It was funny the other day. I had a couple recordings of me and him before he passed. And I pulled up a recording, and it was just him talking about baseball. It was who's batting where, why they're batting there, and who's hot right now, and why he's hot. And my dad liked the mental side of the game a lot. Like, he thought that side of the game could help and do wonders for kids. And I truly believe him. I mean, he might not have been the most mechanically sound coach, but on the mental side of things, man, he knew what to say to a kid to get him out of a funk, or he knew what to say to pump him up and things like that. So that side of the ball tends to get overlooked a lot, but he did very well with the mental aspect of the game. And I have so many kids who told me, hey, he helped me in a way like I didn't even know I needed. I didn't know I was nervous on the mound like that. I thought that was normal. And then he comes out cracking the joke, and then all of a sudden now they're in a good mood. They're throwing strikes, moving the ball around. So Yeah, I think there's a little deception with his coaching of, I'm going to coach the mental side and they're not going to know about it. And then you know how it is when guys get older, they're 25, 26, they're like, man, that's what coach was talking about. That's what he meant.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the guys he coached, they don't realize it till they're fathers or husbands or some of the things he was preaching. They don't see it until it's actually happening in their lives. So I think that's a super cool aspect is I'll get a 27-year-old who's like, hey, your dad coached me and he told me one day this is going to happen and I'll remember his name. And then that comes to fruition. And then all of a sudden they're like reaching out on Facebook and letting me know how they're doing and how their kids are doing. And they're teaching lessons that he taught them. And so, yeah, the baseball world has definitely brought this full circle for our family. And we enjoyed every minute of it last night.
Last one on this topic. You coach the game now. You love the game. Obviously, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Kind of talk about kind of doing a lot of the same things that he did now in your life growing up.
Yeah, 100%. I think coaching is a little bit in a different territory than it was when he was coaching. I think you could get away with a lot more back then, and you could say a lot more, and you could push kids a lot more. Now it's I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of walking on eggshells for coaches nowadays, and just you don't want to make kids mad, and you don't want to make parents mad, and they're gonna leave and transfer. So like where we're at right now, especially in college baseball, it's kind of crazy. But I do play that role, and I love the assistant coach position for that reason. I can kind of be the guy in the middle. I don't have to be the mean coach. I don't have to be the nicest coach. I can walk that fine line. And that's what he was good at. My dad was very good at when things are hitting the fan and things are hitting the wall, he's level-headed and he can talk a kid down. He can talk a coach down. And I think that's half of the battle because growing up, I wanted to be perfect. I wanted to be 5 for 5 every game. And just that little side of like, hey, the sun's going to come up tomorrow, whether you were 0 for 4 or 4 for 4. So I think a lot of kids and parents need to realize that when they're coaching their kids, like tomorrow's going to come, whether we like it or we don't like it, it's going to show up. So why not just be positive? And I preach that a lot. It's like, if these kids aren't mentally in the game, they're not going to perform. If they're not mentally in the game, they're not going to be a good kid and listen. And so there's just so much more to coaching baseball. And as your boys get older, I'm sure you appreciate a good coach who's but yeah, he definitely was that coach that could walk that fine line. And I think that's probably the biggest take I got from him as a coach was like, our kids are also humans at the end of the day. They're going through stuff we don't know about. They're going through stuff we do know about. So just walking that fine line of like coach, friend, mentor, I enjoy that. And as these kids get older, I think they need more people in their corner that have their back.
Absolutely. You do a good job of it. Noah Wethington of Blackhawk College joining us right now and off the air. Noah, before we talk about this baseball team you guys got now, because it's a really good baseball team, this is your first year at Blackhawk. Kind of talk about taking that position, the thought process behind it seems like a no-brainer, and how much you're loving doing what you're doing right now.
Yeah, so this is my first year back at Blackhawk. I was here in 18, 19, a little bit of 20. But man, it's been a roller coaster. It's actually a funny story, and I tell the boys this all the time. When I came to Blackhawk as a player, I told Coach Chavera that I would take this team to the World Series for the first time. And I didn't achieve that as a player. I was 1 game away as a player. I've been 1 game away as a coach. So in an aspect, I am a little bit selfish, but I did make a promise to our AD, and I'm hoping I keep that promise. But for me, you know my lifestyle, Coach. Like, I do baseball. That's all I do. I don't try to do other things that I'm not good at. So yes, my life is baseball. So when this position came and Arnie called me, I was more than happy to help. I do take a hit with my hitting lessons because we get so busy in this season, but it's a great trade-off, and to watch these kids grow in the year or two that we have them, and then we get them to bigger and better places, and just watching them flourish, knowing how hard they worked at this school, I think that just speaks volumes to this program. And I'm grateful to be a part of this staff and join this team that they were already good. Let's just be honest. This team was good last year. These guys were all good in high school. So like we have a winning team this year. So they made it easy on me because I've been a part of some teams that didn't have this kind of talent, and the year was a lot more stressful. That's for sure.
You look at it 43-12, I think, on the year. You guys start sectionals coming up this week. Won the third straight Arrowhead Conference Championship. You talked about it. The expectations were kind of there. I mean, coming off back-to-back conference championships, and you know the talent that you have. Did anything surprise you this year, or is it kind of harder sometimes having those expectations, meeting them, and you guys have done a good job meeting those expectations?
Yeah, I mean, I love this quote that pressure comes with a lot of things. And I think one of those things is you have a target on your back. And that's a good thing to me. Like if people are chasing you, that means you're doing something right. So every game we go into, it's the World Series for them, and it's just another game for us. So from that aspect, it's tough sometimes to explain to these kids, hey, we're playing a 3-12 team right now. We got to get up because they're going to play us a lot different than they're going to play someone else. That aspect has always been at Blackhawk. I know we have this local kind of stigma behind us, and kids don't want to stay local. And I know we're not the only sport in school who deal with that. But when you really dig into the culture and history of this program, man, it goes deep. And there's a lot of guys that you wouldn't even think about played baseball at Blackhawk. And I run into guys all the time. And I'm like, hey, we're following the season. We're proud alumni. And with the new field and all the support we get from the school, man, this thing has been rolling this year. And it's a no shortage of just the players we have, the staff that we have, the support we have behind the scenes. I mean, we had 3 starters call me a week before the season looking for a place to play. So we brought in 3 guys a week before the season, and now they're contributing every day for us. So what we thought we had, what we ended up getting, it kind of all just came together at the right time. We had a good fall. We lost a couple starters at break. We've lost a couple starters to injury. So, yeah, behind the scenes has also been a little bit of a mix-up because – what we thought we had, our starting 9, is not where we're at now. So but that's the beauty of college baseball and JUCO baseball is, I mean, you'll have a kid you didn't even think was going to be on the radar. Now he's leading off, or now he's batting 5th and hitting 400. So I think that's the cool aspect of JUCO at our level is you never know who the guy is going to be the next year. And that's the beauty of the game, especially at the JUCO level.
The games continue to get bigger and bigger. Kind of talk about Friday. You guys play. You get to host round 1. I think Rock Valley and Morton are both the games. Kind of talk about getting ready for the postseason, and now there's no room for errors. I know, like during the year, you want to minimize error. Now there's no room for error. There's no room for a bad day and all those kind of things. Talk about the thought process and the mentality, going back to Dad maybe, of postseason baseball and how much more important it gets ramped up, hopefully the next upcoming several weeks for Blackhawk.
Yeah, we just had this talk with the hitters the other day is the highs and lows. Like I said, every team wants to beat this program, and that's a privilege. To have some pressure is a privilege. But you also can't be too high. You can't be too low. We have to kind of ride our wave. And we've gone with this all years. We don't care who's in that other dugout. If we handle what we're doing, if we handle our business, the outcome's usually in our favor. And this team, man, I've been around this program 20 years, and I've never seen a team this deep all around. So that's an aspect in the playoffs that's going to help us a lot. I mean, we run 10 arms out there. We got guys on the bench that have started a lot of games and had success. So I think that aspect of knowing that we don't need to press, or we don't need to keep our number 1 fresh, or we don't need to baby a kid because we need him to throw a certain game, or we have everyone ready to go. And I think we do pride ourselves on next guy up. Next guy up. If you make an out, the next guy up. If you can't throw a strike, it's the next guy. And our guys have bought into that. And Playoffs, man, you know how the playoffs go in every sport. It's like what you think's going to happen never freaking happens. So yes, we're planning on the next round in the World Series, and those have been our goals, but it's very important to take this thing game by game, because back to my almond days, you go to the state championship, you don't start your number one because of matchup reasons, and then you lose, and then you'll always have that, man, we should have just went with our guy first game. And so that's big for us. We're not going to look in that other dugout. We're just going to throw our guys in order. We're going to pitch who we think is ready, and we're going to take it game by game, because if we look ahead and we act like this team isn't that and that team isn't this, then that's usually when the upsets happen. And we're looking forward to the matchups that we have this weekend, though. We're pretty happy we get to host and show off this new facility that Blackhawk College has worked very hard for our athletic program to be top in our region for sure.
And that's where I want to leave it, is with that that facility in that place. And I don't know if people fully realize, I want to say the hidden gem, but what Blackhawk baseball is in this area. And you go over there and the facility is fantastic. The field, the softball field looks great too. Kind of talk about that, and there's tons of local kids just showing out and doing great things. Kind of talk about this program in general, and I don't want to say give the spiel or give the sales pitch, but if people don't know what you guys have been doing and it's continuing to get better with the facilities and all that kind of stuff, it really is, and I hate to say a hidden gem because it shouldn't be hidden, just a gem of what local baseball can be here in the Quad Cities.
Yeah, I think this program, man, and I fell victim to this as a high school kid too. I mean, we all overlook this program because it's local to us. And you hear community college, you start to think middle of the mall, low budget. And that is the complete opposite, man. We get kids on campus from Bettendorf and PV, and they're like, holy crap, we did not know this was like this. Or this is my favorite. We hand them the sheet of where we send guys every year. And we have a sheet of like the last 20 years of where we sent guys. And they're like, holy crap, there's 5 or 6 D1 guys every single season in this program. So I think that's the cool aspect of it also, is like you'll get a local kid who you thought knows a ton about your program, and then you'll get them on campus and their parents are like, man, we had no idea this was right here in our backyard.
Yeah.
But the underdog role is great. And when we can bring a kid in and just show off, we don't even have to talk much. We're just like, look what we have. And the alumni love it, man. We had an alumni game this fall, and they came, and they're getting to enjoy it, and they're bringing their kids out now. And I mean, this program is rich in history. It does not lack history. It does not lack great ball players. I mean, a full circle moment. Our number one right now, Brody Myers, his dad gets drafted out of Blackhawk for the Cubs however many years ago. Yeah. It's like, these are cool moments that wouldn't happen at other schools unless they had the support and just the plethora of alumni that this school has. And now we can compete with recruiting. It's been kind of a mix and match with the ICAC in Iowa. They have a lot of just ranked schools, Southeastern, Iowa Central. This year we got out and played them. I mean, we opened the year with the 5th ranked team in the country. Then we go play Southeastern twice. They're 3rd in the country. We get overlooked a little bit because of how good the schools around us are. So some of our guys will end up at Kirkwood, and they'll end up at DMAC and these great programs. And we'll kind of be the little brother in the back seat. Well, we made our way up to the front now, and now we're competing with everyone. We have top-notch facilities. All the support from the school that we need. So, yes, it has turned recruiting into an easier role than it used to be. It used to be, hey, we'll go to the field last. Maybe the parents will forget about I brought up we're going to go to the field and see the field, and now it's I'll meet you at the field. We're going to meet in the press box. It's just been crazy, and honestly, every time I pull up to that place, man, I am just in awe. The weight room is crazy. We have our own athletic building now, so all the boys have places to study, and the coaches have places to have our meetings, and it is crazy, and it's truly a blessing, because I've been at D1 programs, and I've seen facilities across the country, and man, we rank up there with we rank up there with a lot of these smaller D1s. So now when we're fighting over a kid, that plays a huge role in who we're going to get and where these kids want to spend the next 2 years. And I think parents being able to come and grandparents being able to still watch their kids, that's an aspect that I preach a lot. I didn't realize this until my dad passed, but like him being able to come to games helped them. My cousins being able to come to games helped them. Like it goes so much deeper than these kids think. And I know for sure you as a dad, like it kills you when you don't get to go to all the boys' games, and it kills you when you miss one at bat, or he comes home and is like, I hit a double, and you're like, man, I could have been there. Yeah. So I think that the Blackhawk and just where we're at in the community is it's so big to have your parents come to every game and just to have the support that speaks volumes to this program and the things that we do preach as coaches. But no, we are so blessed to be in this position at Blackhawk and have the things we have. And I only think it's going to get better and better. And we're going to keep, I think we're ranked 14th in the country right now. And we were 11th last week. I mean, these are things that Blackhawk's never done. Like you look at the top 20 rankings in the country, and to have us in the front half of that it's crazy to see. It's a surreal moment, but it speaks to how hard everyone around this program works, and the boys should be very proud of themselves of what they have accomplished already this year.
Absolutely, but the work is not done. Friday, it's supposed to be a beautiful weekend in the Quad Cities. So if you're listening to this and you just like good college baseball and like to support local kids out there busting their butt, get out there. It's a beautiful facility. First game Friday at 1 p.m. Who is it again? Rock Valley?
Rock Valley at 1, and then we play Morton right after that.
Beautiful. So get out to Blackhawk, check it out.
The girls also host, so we'll have both programs going. It's going to be a busy, just beautiful sunny day. So yeah, if any local guys, alumni, families, bring them all out. We'd love to have you.
I love it. I love catching up with you. I always appreciate you. I'm trying to keep you here as long as I can so you don't have to go back inside to daddy daycare, because I think that's where you got to go.
Hear my son crying in there already. So yeah,
I love it. Well, Noah, I appreciate you taking the time. Awesome that everything went great yesterday. It was great to see your dad honored in that way, and we'll catch up with you again real soon. Get some W's this weekend.
Thanks, buddy. I'll tell the boys I said hi.
I will do. That is Noah Wethington. Fantastic dude. Really good baseball coach as well. Assistant baseball coach over at Blackhawk College. Blackhawk College, the place to be this weekend. They get ready for the sectionals. They're hosting sectionals, so really good baseball team. Go check them out as well. We got more to get to. You're watching Off the Air on a Tuesday right here in the Quad Cities.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air on a Tuesday here in the Quad Cities. Tuesday, May 6th. Thank you guys for joining us. It's been another fun show here on a beautiful day in the Quad Cities. We open things up. Normally we talk to Pat Angerer every Monday here on Off the Air. Pat was golfing yesterday, living the life of the rock star. So he joined us today. We kind of went back over my Kirk Ferentz interview on Friday. Kind of talked about a few things he talked about, got Pat's thoughts on that. So go check out Pat earlier in the show as well. Also, thanks to John Marx for swinging by the house. Johnny's a longtime friend of mine, one of the best in the business when it comes to sports writing, and then, of course, a columnist, doing great stuff. And 19 years now doing games and shows on MC22. So great to catch up with Johnny. We talked to him about Caitlin Clark, Darian Porter, everything in between. So fake hips, myself, you name it. So check out John Marks from hour number 1. And then that was really cool to catch up with Noah Wethington, one of the best hitting guys and coaches in the area, but also an assistant coach at Black Hawk College, doing great things, helping out a program that's already in a great place. They get ready for sectionals coming up this Friday. So 2 games there. Go check out the new facility over at Black Hawk. They're 45-12 or something like that. Ranked 14th. Won the conference championship for the 3rd straight season. And doing it with a bunch of local guys. I mean, the main foundation of that program is local talent. So go check them out. We wish them the best of luck this coming weekend. Coming up tomorrow on the show, it is Wednesday, so Steam Wheeler Wednesday will be in full effect. The Wheelers 6-0 on the season, have not lost a game since partnering up with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. So obviously that's all to do with my athletic prowess and nothing to do with Coach Ross and the talent on the team. No, all credit goes to them. So we'll catch up with the Wheelers. They're 6-0. Then another road game this weekend before they come back home the weekend after that. So I'm also going to catch up with former Rock Ridge standout and had a heck of a season down at Western Illinois for the Leathernecks. Peyton Brown is going to join us on tomorrow's show as well. So that and much more to get to on Wednesday. Gosh, I had things going for the rest of the week, and I can't remember what they are right now off the top of my head, but excited about what's coming up for the rest of the week. I mentioned it with Johnny, but yeah, this marks 4 months since I started this goofy little show, and I do want to thank the people who do watch and listen. My sponsors are amazing. Really enjoying this new venture. I hope you guys are as well. I'm literally all ears, so if you have any suggestions, I mean, look at these things. They're huge. If you have any suggestions, things we can do, ideas, thoughts, all that kind of stuff, get a hold of me on social media. If you know me, text me. But I'm willing to do anything and try anything right now to continue to have fun and success with this show. So thank you guys for helping us out the first 4 months and supporting it. And we're just getting started. A lot more fun things to get to on off the air with Matt Randazzo. And I did mention the sponsors. I want to thank them as we let you go today, because without these sponsors jumping on board and helping me out, I wouldn't be able to get to do what I'm doing right now. So thank you to these sponsors. Snoop on the show yesterday. Fantastic. We got the Quad City Steamwheelers coming up tomorrow, 6-0. My good friend Andy Furman and Godfather's Pizza. Outstanding pizza, an outstanding dude. Of course, Kevin Rafferty and Rafferty Funeral Home as well, some of the best in the business. And then Hungry Hobo. Hungry Hobo is starting right now their May promotion for graduation. So you buy a $25 gift card, you get a $5 gift card for yourself. Awesome promotion. They do it around the holidays as well. Makes a ton of sense. Go to Hungry Hobo, get your graduate a gift, and then also get like a waffle fry or some cheddar fries or a sandwich. Get $5 for yourself. So make sure you take advantage of that. And of course, I always say we eat Hungry Hobo one night a week with my kids running around busy and all that kind of stuff. Usually it's a Wednesday. Last week it was a Tuesday. I think it'll probably be a Wednesday this week as well. But we conquer and divide. And usually whoever's going with Dad, which is usually most of them, they know they're going to Hungry Hobo, and we're going to pig out. So thank you guys to those sponsors. Thank you guys for watching once again today. We'll be back with another edition of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo coming up tomorrow. We'll see you then.